Okay, so if we are looking at our schedule for math on March 31st, which is Tuesday, yesterday, today, I did try to just upload yesterday's math lesson. I know some of you had worked ahead while I was experiencing technical difficulties, but I have gone ahead and at least just shown you which pages and tried to talk you through it a little bit on the end of chapter 8. So I am going to move on to Intro to Chapter 9, and we are going to look at Lesson 9.1 today, where we will be relating fractions, which is something we've just learned about, to decimals, which is definitely a skill that is important for us as adults, as students, because it will be definitely something you will use in your real world and in your life. So I do have Craig here, and he is actually working through this Relate Fractions and Decimals, Show What You Know page. It is page 341, and the book does this page just to kind of warm your brain up a little bit and get you thinking about just different ways to look at what we might be covering in the actual chapter. And so at school, we usually just start with allowing you to work through this and allowing you to remember kind of where we came from. And we're going to be dealing in this chapter a lot with tenths, because tenths is also a decimal, and you can easily convert it to hundredths. So if you look right down here, it talks about fractions with denominators of 10. So Craig is going to write 3/10 there, and then he's going to move over here to number 6. He's going to write 6/10 there, 8/10, and 9/10. Now, if you'll remember, boys and girls, we don't usually talk about Carmen Sandiego. We really want to get to the vocabulary over here and make sure that if there's anything that we need to introduce and that we need to go through, that we go ahead and do that now. And so if you are on your page 342, I usually just talk you through this, but I'm just going to show you the answer key here. It talks about completing this map by using words that have a check mark. Those are the words over here with a check mark. And this is showing the unit fraction 1/10. This is showing you the number 1, and so it is a whole number. This is showing you 1/100th. And then this is showing you how to compare 1/10 to 1/100th. Now you can look down here, and it's telling us that a decimal is a number with 1 or more digits to the right of the decimal point. So if you're looking here, you can see there's a decimal point, and then that would be tenths. So we've always talked about whole numbers, and that's on this side of the decimal point, ones being the first number we talked about. Now we're going to start talking about numbers that are on the right side of that decimal point. And so if you look back here again and you draw your line, decimal goes to a number with 1 or more digits to the right of the decimal point. Decimal point is a symbol used to separate dollars from cents in money amounts and to separate the ones and the tenths places in decimals. A tenth is 1 part out of 10 equal parts, and 100th is 1 part out of 100 equal parts. And then equivalent decimals, you've probably heard equivalent fractions. Of course, we've talked about that. But equivalent decimals are going to be 2 or more decimals that name the same amount. So that's really just your warm-up today. If you can make sure that you have all of that done, we are actually going to be ready now to relate tenths and decimals. And our learning goal would be just that. I can record tenths as fractions and as decimals. So go ahead and I'm going to be done with this video so that I can start 9.1 in a separate video. So be looking for that link shortly. And this does still go with math for Tuesday, March 31st, but I'm going to record it in a separate link for you. So stay tuned for that one after you get filled out everything you needed to for our little warm up here on the intro to chapter 9.